In today's video, I'm going to be attempting to predict the 2025 Formula One season. Now, everyone's doing this, so I thought, why not be one of them? I've got this set into a few different categories. The first category is the biggest good surprise of the season. The second category is the biggest flop of the season. And the third category is 3 season predictions that I have for this season. I will also be attempting to predict the Constructors' Championship and the Drivers' Championship as well. So stick around for that. But anyway, I also need to quickly equip something. I'm much more in the thick of it now. Anyway, let's get into my first predictions. Actually, this can bugger off.
They ask you how you are, and you just have to say that you're fine when you're not.
So, biggest good surprise of the 2025 Formula One season. What would I say would be the biggest surprise? Obviously, I could just chuck in Kimi Antonelli as the highest performing rookie because he's driving a Mercedes, but I think there's a few different categories that the biggest good surprise should be set in. And I feel like it should more be who would be actually a surprise package compared to what a lot of people think they'd be. So, my biggest good surprise for the 2025 Formula One season is Ollie Bearman. Bearman has proved that he has a lot of talent, and in his 3 Formula One drives, 1 with Ferrari and 2 with Haas, he scored points in 2 of them, and in the 3rd one, had a little bit of bad luck in the extreme wet conditions. So, Bearman is my biggest good surprise of the 2025 Formula One season. Now, along with the opposite of biggest good surprise, who is the biggest flop of the season? And to fit in that category, I thought, who better to put than Max Verstappen? Now you might be thinking, Max Verstappen, biggest flop? What are you doing? What are you thinking? Well, my thought process is if Max Verstappen does not win the championship, it's immediately a biggest flop because he has won the last 4 championships and dominated every single one. So, for my 3 season predictions, and these are shock predictions. My first prediction is that there will be at least 22 drivers in the final standings. This means that drivers can wildcard in. They can also replace other drivers mid-season. So, my prediction is that there will be at least 22 drivers in the final standings. Not 21, 22. My second prediction is that Oscar Piastri will outscore Lando Norris. A lot of people are predicting Lando Norris to be up as one of the top drivers in their predictions. I don't see it. I see Oscar Piastri outscoring him. Now, I can back up Oscar all I like and say the reason he dropped off towards the end of the season was because he was trying to not beat Lando and trying to let Lando beat him so that he had a shot at the championship. Oscar's mid-season pace really showed that he does have enough pace and enough consistency to do good things. Plus, after all, he was only in his 2nd season. He will be getting better throughout the seasons. Hence why I'm thinking that Oscar will win a championship over the next few years. Wait for my 2029 predictions. He'll be a 5-time champion. That doesn't make sense. My 3rd season prediction. Lewis Hamilton, Kimi Antonelli, and Liam Lawson will win at least 1 race each. I say at least 1 race each, Lewis. But they're all the new drivers going into the big teams, so I predict that they're all going to win at least a race. Now, let's look at the Constructors' Championship, or Teams' Championship, for this season. From 10th to 1st, let's get into it. 10th place, I predict Stake F1 Team Sauber. It's really not a shock prediction, is it? 9th place, I've gone for Williams Racing. James Vowles did say that they can crash the car as much as they like. Their main focus is the 2026 car. So, yes, there's a lot of hype around Carlos Sainz. Oh my goodness, he's going to score race wins. No, he won't. They're not focused on this year's car. They're focused on next year's car. If you want me to predict Williams any higher than 9th, wait till my 2026 predictions. 8th place, I've predicted Racing Bulls. I don't see anything big for them. They have Yuki. They have Isaac. That's about it. 7th place, the MoneyGram Haas Toyota Formula One racing team. Yeah, I don't know what their name is. But what I do know is that I feel that they will be at the front of the back of the pack. Driver lineup looks good, that's all I can say. P6, I've gone for the BWT Alpine F1 team. Alpine are going to do Alpine things, or French things, and somehow screw up a P5 against an Aston Martin team that won't be trying. Hence why I'm saying Aston Martin finished P5. Yeah, I don't see anything big happening for them this year, especially because Adrian Newey isn't also really, I don't think, focusing on the 2025 car. I have a feeling he's more focusing on their 26 car, like most other teams. Obviously, Lance Stroll dragged them down. Obviously, he always does. But I don't think Adrian Newey is really focusing on their 2025 car. I don't know. So I'm saying that Aston Martin finish in P5. P4. Mercedes-AMG Petronas Formula 1 team. Yeah, no, it's Mercedes. They're going to be the back of the front of the pack, but obviously going to be one of the 4 fastest teams. But that's about it. After all, it is Mercedes. They're probably also focusing on their 26 car, but I can see them pulling together a couple wins or so. P3, I've gone for Oracle Red Bull Racing. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Red Bull, and it looks like they're going backwards. I think they'll do a little bit better this year than they did last year because they don't have Perez, but I don't think they're going to finish any higher than 3rd. P2, I've gone for Scuderia Ferrari. Yeah, a lot of people are saying Ferrari are going to finish 1st. I don't see the hype in Lewis Hamilton. I'm sorry. I don't see it. P1, McLaren. This is my favourite team. I literally have car models of them. But I'm not just doing this because of biasy. I literally think McLaren are going to finish 1st because they finished 1st this year. They definitely struggled to do so, but I don't see the hype around Lewis Hamilton again. And depending how close the fight is at the front, McLaren are going to finish 1st. So, time for the Drivers' Championship, 21st to 1st. Notice how I said 21st to 1st. 21st place, Jack Doohan. It's a little bit disheartening to put a fellow Australian in 21st place, especially when I'm a MotoGP fan. Hence why I had a lot of hype around Jack Doohan, because Mick Doohan, 5-time MotoGP champion, brought him up to F1. But I don't think he's going to finish the season, and I can see him getting to the halfway point. I understand his contract has a 6-race clause in it. I have a feeling he's just going to squeeze a little bit extra to get to the halfway point of the season and then get inevitably replaced by Franco Colapinto. P20, Gabriel Bortoleto. I can see him scoring a single point this year, which sounds mean until you realise that Valtteri Bottas, a driver that has been on the grid since 2013, only scored nothing points all 2024 season in the same car. 19th place, Nico Hülkenberg. Yeah, I can see him scoring a couple points. Obviously, he's Nico Hülkenberg. He somehow really overperforms in a really shit car. But, again, I don't see him scoring many more than 2 points in that trash bin of a car. P18, Isaac Hadjar. He's an unknown force, but judging how his Formula 2 career started, and judging how a lot of his careers have started, I don't see him finishing any higher than 18th. I don't know, maybe he'll surprise me, but I don't see the hype. 17th place, Franco Colapinto. He'll only have half the season. I think he'll score enough points to get ahead of both Saubers and Hadjar, but that's about it. Obviously, Colapinto had a great first season in Williams, but I don't think he's gonna do as great in the Alpine, or at least be as good looking in the Alpine, considering he's got Gasly as a teammate. Obviously, he became Franco Crashapinto in the Williams, but I don't think he's going to crash it as much. But I don't think he's going to score heaps of points. 16th place, I've gone Alexander Albon. He's in a Williams. He's Albon. 15th place, I've gone for Sir Lancelot. Yeah, I just see him going backwards. I see this also being his last season. 14th place, I've gone for Esteban Ocon. Ocon could have performed better in the Alpine last year, I'll be honest. But in a Haas, I don't see it. 13th place, Carlos Sainz, the smooth operator himself. Sainz, I think, like many other people think, is going to vastly outperform Alexander Albon. However, I don't think he'll finish any higher than 13th. Though, a surprise podium could be on the table. 12th place, Yuki Tsunoda. I feel like this is also going to be his last year in the Red Bull family. Hint, hint, if I ever wanted to make my 2026 driver transfer predictions, which I probably won't. 11th place, I've gone for Ollie Behrman. I did say he'd be the biggest shock of the season. Don't know if people thought I'd put him this high. But again, he scored good points in his first 2 races in his career and nearly scored points in his 3rd race. Yes, his 2nd race was due to luck, but he has enough skill and I think he'll be in with a chance of a Ferrari drive in 2027. Now into the top 10. In 10th place, I've gone for Pierre Gasly. Yeah, Gasly performed really well at the end of last season. I'm surprised that he didn't have that sort of raw skill all the way through the beginning of the season. Then again, neither did Alpine. 9th place, Fernando Alonso. Best of the rest, as he does. He's really just another level. But I feel like it's going to be between him and Gasly for a little battle for that P9 in the championship. But I feel like he's going to edge him out. Alonso is just consistent. 8th place. Now going into the 4 best teams. 8th place, I've gone for Andrea Kimi Antonelli. I feel like he's way too overhyped. Maybe that's just me, but I don't see him finishing any higher than 8th. I do see him scoring a win though. P7, I've gone for Liam Lawson. I would have loved to put him higher, but all the other drivers above him are just way too good. And Liam Lawson is just way too inexperienced. However, over the course of the years at Red Bull, I feel like he is going to start to improve things. And he will become a better driver, possibly finishing in the top 3 in the championship in like 3 years. Maybe when Max is out, I don't know. But for now, P7. P6, I've gone for George Russell. Russell is a bit of a surprise package. I don't necessarily like him that much, but he's a surprise package. P5, Lewis Hamilton. Yeah, a lot of people have put Hamilton up in the top 4, top 3 section. I don't see him finishing any higher than 5th. It's his first year in the Ferrari. Give him a break. Stop putting so much pressure on him. I do see him finishing up there slightly towards the top 3, the top pointy end next year. But it's his first year in the Ferrari. Lewis himself has put doubts on himself. But then again, a lot of people do that when they're the top level of drivers, riders, and whatever sports. Marc Marquez does it in MotoGP. But I don't see Lewis Hamilton finishing any higher than P5. I feel like it's going to be a really close battle though. I don't know why. P4, I've gone for Lando Norris. Yeah, just missing out on the top 3. I think he's going to score a couple wins over the course of the season. But his inconsistency, it's going to cost him. P3 now, the top 3 drivers of 2025. In 3rd place, I've gone for Max Verstappen. Yeah, hurt me if you like, Max fans. I don't really care. Yeah, he's in a Red Bull that's going to be a lot worse this year, I feel, than it was over the last few years. Obviously, it was pretty bad last year. I just feel like it's not going to get any better this year. Especially with Adrian Newey gone. It's going to make Red Bull a really difficult team to win titles in. And I feel like this will be the first year that Max Verstappen does not win the world title. Though it would be really interesting if Max Verstappen did, because that would mean that he would have won every single title in this era of Formula 1. Shocking! But anyway, Max Verstappen P3, which means in P2, I've gone for Oscar Piastri and P1 Charles Leclerc, obviously. So yeah, Oscar, as much as I would have loved to say it as an Australian, for him to win the world title, it is also his 3rd year. I've got to get realistic. Originally, when I made these predictions, I did put Oscar first. I also made these predictions halfway through the year, so that's when he was doing really well. Maybe in his 4th or 5th year, he'll win the title, but at this rate, it is his 3rd year. He is still growing as a driver, and P2 in the championship is a massive improvement. I think it was P8 or P9 in 2023. He was P4 last year. So P2 this year would be a big improvement. And I also feel like he's going to fight for the title for a little bit, but I think it's going to be the year that Charles Leclerc does it. Since the beginning of these regulations, Charles Leclerc has been trying to win the world title and 100% deserves the title. Obviously, 2022 was so close, yet so far. 2023, we're not even going to talk about. And 2024, it was a little too late. He also had his mid-season problems, so that sort of does not help. But Leclerc has really grown as a driver since he's been in the championship fight. And also, he's just a driver that 100% deserves a world title. And I feel like 2025 is finally the year that he's going to do it. Call me delusional. Call me a delusional Ferrari fan. But I can see Charles Leclerc pulling it off this year. Anyway, guys, that's about it. I know there was comments left on my MotoGP predictions video saying to make an F1 predictions video, because it's gonna be a good video, apparently. Apparently you guys like these videos. I sort of enjoy making them. I like getting my thoughts out there because my opinions matter more than other people's opinions. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, make sure you leave it a like. And while you're down there, go and subscribe as well, because that would mean the world. But anyway, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.